Okay, what's your last one? I want to see if it's the same as the one I've got.
Is it the forest scene?
No!
What?
What?
The forest scene between Lan Zhan and Wei Wuxian. Oh yeah, Wei Wuxian, and he says he used to see Lan Zhan as his lifelong friend.
No, his soulmate! His soulmate!
That's not what it says on the subtitles. Is that what it is in Chinese then? Because it's not what it says in the...
Are you getting sad? He literally says you're like my life's person.
The Viki subtitle is lifelong bosom friend.
It's basically soulmate.
Yes,
but
it doesn't say
romance
soulmate.
version.
Soulmate means so much more.
So yes, the soulmate scene was my last scene.
So it is the same scene. Okay.
Yes, but
Okay.
I had in my head it was the soulmate scene.
I was like, how can you not have this scene? Like,
That's
ultimate.
the main thing.
It was literally my first note I wrote down when I was making my notes was this scene. Hello and welcome to another episode of Two Girls and One BL podcast. Today we're going to be covering episodes 21 to 30 of the Chinese BL series, The Untamed. So let's get straight into it.
Woohoo! So we start out where we left off in episode 20. So following his dramatic return, Wei Wuxian reunites with Jiang Yanli, Jiang Cheng, and Ye Huaisang. Though warmly received, something about him feels different. He's darker and more distant. Meanwhile, Wen Ruohan, the Wen clan patriarch, learns of his son Wen Chao's death and grows increasingly desperate. At the Unclean Realm, the cultivation clans gather to celebrate Wei Wuxian's return, but not all of them are pleased. His absence of a sword and use of unorthodox powers raise suspicions. At the banquet, Wei Wuxian separates himself from the crowd, preferring solitude and wine. Jiang Cheng questions his choice to abandon his sword, but Wei Wuxian is cryptic, saying only that he doesn't want to use it. Later, Wei Wuxian practices his demonic cultivation at night, playing a haunting melody on his new flute, which he names Chen Ting. The next morning, he's missing again, only to be found using his music to influence a group of Wen sect soldiers. When confronted, he lies and deflects. His erratic behavior causes concern. In a heartfelt rooftop conversation with Lan Wangji, the two finally reconnect. Wei Wuxian explains that his cultivation style is not based on Xue Chonghai's demonic practices, but is instead a unique path that uses music. Lan Wangji offers to help him, and they join forces once more. The Cultivator Alliance launches another offensive against the Wen clan, now bolstered by powerful puppets forged from the Stygian iron. Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji investigate the threat. Simultaneously, Lan Xichen arrives with a vital battle strategy. During this tense time, Jiang Yanli is heartbroken by a misunderstanding with Jing Zhixuan, the peacock. Wei Wuxian confronts Jing Zhixuan in a rage, nearly losing control until Lan Wangji intervenes. Eventually, the battle begins. Amidst the chaos, Meng Yao reveals his true colors by betraying Wen Ruohan and killing him. Wei Wuxian unleashes the Stygian tiger seal, collapsing from exhaustion. He awakens 3 days later to find Lan Wangji has been playing his ting to soothe his soul. They learn that the Wen remnants are being slaughtered and the 3 pieces of the Stygian iron have been destroyed. Jing Guangshan reinstates Meng Yao, now called Jing Guangyao, as his son. When Jing Zhixuan targets innocent Wen survivors, Lan Wangji and Wei Wuxian steps in to protect them. Meanwhile, Lan Xichen, Nie Mingjue, and Jing Guangyao form a sworn brotherhood. The clans celebrate their victory, and amidst the political wrangling, Jing Guangshan pressures Jiang Cheng to move forward with Jiang Yanli's marriage. Wei Wuxian defends his sister's right to choose, and she ultimately agrees to rebuild Lotus Pier first before considering marriage. At Lotus Pier, Jiang Cheng and Jiang Yanli begin reconstruction. And in the cloud recesses, Lan Wangji practices the cleansing Qing score. Lan Tiren urges Lan Xichen to deal with Wei Wuxian's growing danger. While Jiang Cheng is overwhelmed with responsibilities, Wei Wuxian vanishes yet again. He's drinking in a nearby town where he meets Lan Xichen. Though Lan Xichen offers help, Wei Wuxian declines and later returns to Lotus Pier, where he has tense but meaningful conversations with Jiang Yanli and Jiang Chen. Elsewhere, Lan Wangji sneaks into the forbidden room and is punished. Jing Zixuan visits Lotus Pier to personally invite the siblings to a hunting event at the Phoenix Mountain. At the event, Jing Zixuan shows off his archery skills, but Wei Wuxian easily outshines him blindfolded. Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji meet again and share a moment of quiet reflection where Wei Wuxian admits he once thought of Lan Wangji as a soulmate. Tensions arise again when Jing Zixuan speaks harshly to Jiang Yanli, prompting yet another confrontation. Later, Jing Zixuan confesses his true feelings, and Jiang Yanli agrees to go with him. In town, Wei Wuxian encounters Wen Qing, and they journey to Chongqi Wei together to find the missing Wen Ning. In the Carp Tower, Lan Wangji is pressured into drinking wine by Jing Zixuan, violating the Lan clan rules. Wei Wuxian then arrives to defuse the situation, but then demands to know where Wen Ning is. After learning that Wen Ning has been executed, he and Wen Ting go find his body. Overcome by grief and fury, Wei Wuxian resurrects Wen Ning as a fierce corpse and temporarily loses control. With some effort, he then regains it and flees with the Wen survivors, only to be stopped by Lan Wangji. Wei Wuxian, believing they'll eventually become enemies, tells Lan Wangji to be the one to kill him if that day comes. Lan Wangji lets them go, but looks devastated. The next day, a meeting is held to judge Wei Wuxian's actions. While most condemned him, Lan Wangji and Mian Mian tried to defend him. Mian Mian ultimately chooses to leave the Jing clan in protest. Meanwhile, Jiang Cheng journeys to the burial mound and discovers Wei Wuxian building a safe haven for the Wen remnants. He urges Wei Wuxian to hand over the Stygian iron, but Wei Wuxian refuses. A fight ensues and Jiang Cheng declares him a traitor. Back in Yiling, Lan Wangji hears townfolk spreading slander about Wei Wuxian. Angered, he leaves, only to run into Wen Yuan, who clings to him in innocence. Wei Wuxian appears and shares a light-hearted moment, pretending Wen Yuan is his child. Lan Wangji treats Wen Yuan to toys, and the three dine together. Lan Wangji informs Wei Wuxian of Jiang Yanli's upcoming wedding. Wei Wuxian laments missing the occasion he once promised to make special for his sister. Suddenly, Wen Ning loses control again in the burial mounds, and Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji rush back to subdue him, restoring his consciousness. Wei Wuxian then shows Lan Wangji around his humble home, and although Lan Wangji worries for him, Wei Wuxian insists he's resolved to stay on this path and to protect those he loves. That night, the Wen survivors throw a surprise dinner for him, and Wei Wuxian drinks and reminisces about his bond with Lan Wangji and his feelings of regret towards Jiang Yanli. Meanwhile, Lan Wangji is punished again for his disobedience, being forced to kneel in the cold. Wei Wuxian's inventions spark imitations across the cultivation world, with merchants impersonating his disciples to sell knockoff talismans. One day, when selling radishes with Wen Ning, Wei Wuxian runs into Jiang Cheng and reunites with Jiang Yanli. She's wearing her wedding dress and asks Wei Wuxian to name her unborn child. He chooses Jing Ru Lan, and they enjoy lotus soup together, briefly reclaiming their familial bond. Wei Wuxian parts ways with his family once again, and Jiang Yanli returns to the Carp Tower. Wei Wuxian starts growing lotus flowers again in the burial mound, And 1 year later, news of Jing Rulan's birth spreads. Jin Guangyao suggests inviting Wei Wuxian to the baby's 1 month celebration, but only if he surrenders the Stygian iron. And that's where episode 30 ends.
The tension between Wei Wuxian and Lan Zhan in episode 21 is so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love this kind of shit. Like, this is exactly what I wanted, and it went for the whole episode. There was a part of me that was like, oh, can it keep going? But yeah, I really enjoy like episode 20 and 21.
Okay,
Them
I
back
like
to back.
20. 20 is really good.
Yeah. And then it culminates sort of in this really, really sweet scene of them like talking together on the rooftop where you feel like
Yeah.
they're kind of back to themselves. Before that, the courtyard scene is what I wanted to talk about, where Wei Wuxian overhears Lan Zhan talking to Yan Li, and he becomes an absolute dick like when he walks up. And Lan Zhan just walks off after it. And then he chases him down and they have that little mini fight in the courtyard. I love that. I love that so much. It's actually not one of my favorite moments that I've got, but I love this moment. It leads into sort of another comment I have about sort of the amount of instances of them talking about like them asking Wei Wuxian, where's your sword? And why have you deviated from sort of like the righteous cultivation sort of path? And I'm just baffled that there's so many times where like they ask him, where's your sword? Why are you doing what you're doing right now? And I'm just sitting here going, why am I so fucking stupid? Like, and this is like the first moment of so many that happen.
I think like this whole like confrontation between them though, it doesn't just, I mean, I think it stretches out like literally until he dies though. Like for me, I don't really remember 21 as being like particularly angsty because it's just it's like, for me, it's super drawn out.
I would say it was when you could really feel animosity between the two. But I see what you're saying, because Wei Wuxian just thinks that Lan Zhan is not on his side, like until he dies, basically. Yeah, I know what you mean. But episode 21 in particular is where you can feel just, from both ends, the real tension of it all.
I mean, I don't think like Lan Zhan did anything wrong. He was just like on the receiving end of misplaced frustration, everyone sort of like not understanding what Wei Wuxian has been through.
Yeah.
But then he's the only one that's been reaching out to him, which is why he's like copying it so much. But then like for me, like one of the biggest comments that I've got that repeats multiple times throughout all the episodes from 21 to 30 is really how Lan Zhan goes from like he's concerned the whole time, but his approach to it is completely wrong. Like that doesn't even get better until after he like resurrects. So I have a lot of notes on that, and it's like different points of the story.
I think this is a really interesting point because a lot of the tension and I think miscommunication between the two is sort of, I think, what you're probably going to be talking about. Like we as viewers know now, like Lan Zhan is completely on his side and trying to help him, but Wei Wuxian is he just thinks that, they started their friendship really sort of like angsty and at odds with each other. And I think he's just, every time that Lan Zhan mentions something, he just thinks, oh, well, you don't believe in me, you're not on my side. So I agree. Yeah.
He's a bit of a righteous asshole if you think about it from Wei Wuxian's perspective.
But I kind of don't blame him. Like,
I
don't blame
either.
Who
he is.
I don't blame either. I can also see Lan Zhan's side as well.
From the very start, because that's when the Wen clan gets defeated, I reckon the cultivation world just needed someone to like take their spot as the villain, and it happened to be Wei Wuxian. And so like despite how, in my opinion, Jin Guangshan and Jin Guangyao are like, they behave very similarly to how the Wen clan behaved. Wei Wuxian became
punching bag,
the one to hate.
Yeah.
The punching bag.
Yeah,
exactly. It was really frustrating to watch.
Yeah.
But he's the only one here trying to protect like the innocent, but he's being treated with so much fear and suspicion, like all the bullshit about why he's not bringing his sword around.
Yeah.
And the part that was really frustrating for me watching these episodes is how like even Lan Zhan is trying to get him to follow the right way, even though it might mean ignoring the innocent victims. And if you like come from just watching the whole 50 episodes, it's like almost so hard to think of Lan Zhan asking Wei Wuxian to like abandon what he's doing to like follow the right way.
But on the flip side, no one knows what Wei Wuxian has gone through.
Exactly.
So
I know. Like
yeah,
we've got
yeah.
the bird's eye view. And I'm glad that I love how angsty it is that it takes Lan Zhan losing Wei Wuxian for almost 2 decades to realize that the way that he's been taught his whole life isn't necessarily the right way. So like that's so angsty and like so good to watch. But
good.
but you can this 21 onwards, like once he comes back and Lan Zhan is like kind of disapproving, is when you can see like his character development going from when his love for Wei Wuxian starts to help him to see the difference between what's right and what's expected of him, and how he starts to defy his own clan rules to support Wei Wuxian. And that's just the very beginning.
And the first moment I think he does that is a really, really awesome scene when he's talking, Lan Zhan's talking to his brother. He was basically saying, was Wei Wuxian doing anything that's kind of evil? That's how he was framing it. I can't remember what it was in reference to. And Lan Zhan was basically like, he wouldn't do that. Like he's already starting to defend him. Wei Wuxian and Zhan Chang walk up and they like bow to each other and then immediately walk off. And then before in that scene at the same time, Lan Zhan's brother Zhou asking him sort of like, does he ask him like what's going on or something like that? I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, just like ask if he's okay, right? Because he can see that there's something going on between the both of them.
He's talking about sort of taking the wrong path, and then Lan Zhan asks like, what is right or wrong? You know, like that's the first time you sort of hear him speak sort of instead of just being like or yep or whatever.
Yeah,
it's the first time he's asking a question about, I guess, morality and sort of perhaps that what he's grown up knowing isn't maybe the right thing.
Way.
I love that scene and the tension again. So good in that scene.
And honestly, like hearing him say, now that you mention it, like what's right versus what's expected, you know, like I don't remember exactly what he said, but that's something that Wei Wuxian would say. It's not something that he would say, but he's taking that on because
absolutely
he likes it.
Yeah. No, it's so good. It's so good. I love it. And like he does act out quite a little bit more because of his misguided sort of attempts to sort of help Wei Wuxian. He's sort of like, as you mentioned in your recap, wanting to learn like all these musical like cleansing songs. He breaks into like the forbidden room and his uncle Lan Zhan like knows that he's done that as well and like scolds him for it, and
he sneaks off to Yiling as well. You know, he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, and after the Sunshot campaign, like when they find out that Wei Wuxian has like this new invention,
Stitch in iron.
that he created himself. When they come back after that to Gusu and his uncle is aware of what happened, Lan Zhan looks terrified, like that he knows. Like he looks like he's panicking, like, shit, how did this get back to you? And and that leads on to sort of breaking in, because I think he asks in that scene, I want to go into the forbidden room, and that, and then so he's starting to rebel a little bit or act up a little bit, and I don't know, I find that quite satisfying to watch. You know, he's not a complete stickler for the rules,
and you can kind of see like how desperate he is to help Wei Wuxian, because in his worldview, like this person that he cares a lot about is like going off on the wrong path, and he's so desperate to try to help him that he'll break the rules to do it. And that's so cute.
Well, when he asks to help Wei Wuxian after they're having that talk on the rooftop, and Wei Wuxian goes to leave and he's like, let me help you, and I was like, oh my god, he cares so much.
And like Wei Wuxian probably never ever hears that. Like he's helping everyone else, but I don't think anyone really has offered to help him.
Yeah, so good. This is probably the most interesting point of this, like 10 episodes, I would say.
This part?
Yeah, Lan Zhan trying to get through to Wei Wuxian, but Wei Wuxian just sort of refusing. Really, he refuses all help, I would say.
The way he behaves is like super defensive.
I don't blame him though.
Because he kind of almost knows that like what he's doing is, well, it's unorthodox, but yeah, he's like super defensive and he's like already got his spines out, not wanting anyone to get close to him. Not to mention people give him so much shit about the sword thing, like you were saying.
I know, all the time. Like,
but it must be weird if it's like a representation of their power or something, like as a cultivator. Maybe it's weird that he isn't bringing it along.
you know how they didn't have their swords for a long time because they were captive after they went to the Wen clan for the teachings.
Wen clan.
Are they only able to have like one sword or something? Like, is that, why didn't they ever mention sort of getting a replacement temporarily? Like,
oh, I know the answer to that, because their sword, it's spiritual, so it's attached to like their golden core.
got it.
Which is why like Wei Wuxian's
like
sword can be pulled out.
Yeah.
So you can't just like get a new one because they have the train there.
Right. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I thought it might be
Which
something
also
like that.
makes sense. It makes sense why they're like freaking out that Wei Wuxian isn't bringing his
sword with him.
Sword around.
Like, it's an extension of him in a way. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't like sit there and go like, how am I this stupid still? Like, the sword thing is mentioned so freaking much. Like, it's embarrassing to like think back on that. And I don't even know what I was doing. Like, what was I doing? Like, maybe I was just like focused on how much his temperament had changed from like when he came back. I don't know.
Maybe you're just like not super used to these kind of cultivation world shows yet. But just to finish off this point that I was making, I really like that scene where Mian Mian stands up for Wei Wuxian. And for me, it was like such a good contrast to Lan Zhan, who isn't quite there yet in terms of standing up for Wei Wuxian, but Mian Mian is just like immediately on his side.
He does say something though, but I don't think it's that scene. I think it's actually a scene before that, which you mentioned in your recap when they're trying to get Xiao Zhan and Lan Zhan to drink, and he walks in.
Oh yeah.
And drinks the drink for Lan Zhan, and then what's his name? That really whiny bastard, Jin
Zixun.
Yeah, and he wants to know sort of like what they've done with the remaining Wen clan members. Everyone's like freaking out over a flute, which is what I find so funny in that scene. He doesn't have a sword on him again. He starts counting down. I don't know what it is, but it does something to me. Like the way he looks so threatening when he's doing it. After that scene, Lan Zhan, I think it was Jin Guangsheng, is that how he says his name? The leader of the Jin clan.
Jin Guangshan, yeah.
Yeah, he's like bitching about Wei Wuxian and being like, oh, he's disrespecting Zhan Chang and he just won't shut up about like this and that. And then Lan Zhan goes, I never heard him say that. And I was like, oh my God, Lan Zhan is speaking up finally. Like, oh my God, this is revolutionary.
It was just like really frustrating because Mian Mian had just like made sort of like a really big show of support for him, and then he just like he's there but he's silent the whole time, and he just walks out.
Yeah, he just looks on moody.
Like I know
and then walks out.
Exactly. Like for someone that's so repressed, I get that it's not easy to speak out, but it's like such a big contrast to what just happened like right before that, which is like Mian Mian actually saying, fuck you guys. I don't want to be around you if this is how you're behaving. So, but this is how he gets in the future.
Like
in
Mian
the
Mian?
future, Lan Zhan, yeah, like Mian Mian, he's just like, screw you guys, I don't want to be a part of you. I'm going with Wei Wuxian. Like that he gets there eventually. But it's such a big contrast from where he is now.
Yeah.
Oh, and one of my favorite, like, for me, like this is probably the best moment. It's not really a moment because it's part of this like whole conversation about Lan Zhan not trusting Wei Wuxian, but it's the angstiest part for me was when Lan Zhan's like, let me help you. And Wei Wuxian's like, if you don't trust me, how can you help me?
Oh, wait, no.
Like, I love that
scene. Yeah, when they're on
so sassy.
The cliff?
The cliff thing.
The cliff, yeah.
I don't know.
It's so good.
Like a volcano lookalike.
Because he keeps talking about like the new musical scores that he's learned, Lan Zhan. And then Wei Wuxian's sort of just like, oh, God, this again. Yeah, and then, I can't exactly remember what he says now. It's such a good scene. Wait, I've got notes on this. Let me find it.
I wrote down what he says. He says, let me help you. And Wei Wuxian says, if you don't trust me, how can you help me?
I had a comment that it was basically like, Wei Wuxian's getting to the point where he's almost like mocking Lan Zhan for like the help that he's trying to provide. And I thought that was such a low blow. Like, but then again, like, Wei Wuxian doesn't think that Lan Zhan's on his side.
I'm on Wei Wuxian's side though a bit, because
I am
if I
too.
think about it from his perspective,
Yeah.
Lan Zhan has this like holier than thou way of trying to help. It's like, I'll help you try to get through your period of darkness. It's so condescending. It's not like he actually believes in him. He's trying to like save him somehow. It's just, I didn't like how he did it. And when he snapped, he was like, if you don't trust me, how can you help me? I'm like, thank you, because this help is so, he doesn't trust him.
But yeah, if I would have to agree with you. I'm probably more on Wei Wuxian's side, but yeah, I think he's being so frosty and stubborn about it because he just doesn't think that Lan Zhan trusts him at all.
It's like he keeps saying, what if you lose control? What if this?
Yes,
What if that?
yeah.
And I think that in itself tells us that he doesn't trust
him. Yeah.
Because if he did, he wouldn't question if he can handle it. He would just be there to help him with the fallout if he couldn't.
Yeah, and it gets worse, I think, when Lan Zhan's like on lockdown at like Cloud Recesses, basically, because of his uncle. And Xiao Zhan goes out and bumps into Wei Wuxian and starts asking him questions. Yeah. And like Wei Wuxian was like, he was all cocky, like kind of, you know, being humorous and laughing about the fact that Lan Zhan was like locked up at Cloud Recesses. And then the minute that he mentioned sort of like the musical scores that Lan Zhan was learning, he just shut up like straight away, like pretty much, I don't want to hear about this, and just walks off. And so it's, yeah, he kind of just thinks that they're both sort of against him. So it's, even though, they're trying to help in their own way, he just doesn't see it like that. Yeah, it's kind of sad, actually.
It's not the right way to help, though.
He doesn't know how to do it, though. Like, that's the problem.
Yes.
Like, he's never...
And that's why I like this character development, because he eventually realizes how to do it, but he doesn't quite understand where he's in at the moment. Oh, which is what makes it so good. I have a comment, like, I don't know where anymore. But I did say, I just said the best part about all of this is that Lan Zhan realizes how to support Wei Wuxian eventually, but it doesn't happen too quickly. And that's what makes it so fun to watch. It takes so much angst for Lan Zhan to realize, but if it happened quickly, it would have been less satisfying.
Yeah, and it probably wouldn't have made sense if someone like Lan Zhan figured it out.
Yeah, he's a bit like sort of a stickler for kind of a stick in the mud.
Yeah, no, but it's, as you said, it's such a good part. I think this is why I enjoy these episodes, because of this like back and forth tension between the two, and they don't completely see eye to eye. It's really good. The whole soup argument scene, like, why? For one, it's just so stupid to me. The only thing good about that scene was Wei Wuxian about to lose his shit and Lan Zhan coming in and telling him to chill. And also like Mian Mian coming across as the only like sane character. But
you mean the Zhang Yanli's soup argument, right?
Yeah, when they're in that tent, and it literally goes on for like 15 minutes and she's crying over like him like bad mouthing her or something like that. Oh.
He just treats her like trash. And of course the one confrontation that Zhang Yanli is involved in has to do with soup.
That's such a good point. Anyway, and then the confrontation scene in the woods was so fucking long. Oh my God, that went on for like half an hour. It was so ridiculous. And everyone just came across as sore losers in this scene.
They were.
I think the intent of the scene, looking back on it, was just to show how everyone was against Wei Wuxian in that scene. Not everyone except his sister, I think. I think that was the purpose of the scene. But it was so fucking long. It went on forever. Oh my God.
But I think it's not just that they were against him, but it actually showed really well that the reason why they're against him is because he's threatening them because of how powerful he is, even if he doesn't have a sword.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of them start to act out against him, even in the future episodes, because they're jealous and they're threatened.
Yeah. And I mean, it had cute little moments there where Lan Zhan was like in his own way trying to like stand by his side. But a lot of the time he wasn't really sticking up for him. He was just basically being like, chill, calm down, that's all it was.
And that is the worst thing you can do. Like if I'm getting into a fight and you want to come and defend me, the last thing you should do is come close to me and say like, chill.
Yeah.
I would punch you in the face.
Yeah. Just That scene I always remember because I just remember watching it and being like, what is the fucking big deal here? Like, he
It's
outschooled
not
all
a
of you
big
guys. It's
deal.
not. Yeah.
Are they teenagers in this episode though? Like, is that why they're all so immature? Because they're all
Yeah.
still
So
really young in the past.
this would have been sort of like, how old is Wei Wuxian? He between the start of the
Like
show
15
till
and
he
16,
dies.
maybe?
It's like, I think it's like 4 years, I think, is the timeline. And so they'd probably be like 19, 20.
I guess the argument's quite age appropriate. Like,
Oh, God.
I
Anyway.
don't know.
Anyway.
I have a bit on Wei Wuxian that I want to talk about. I mean, Wei Wuxian's like basically the star of the whole show, but he really is the star of these 10 episodes. Like, I reckon it's really all about him. I mean, it's a bit sadistic to say, but it was really interesting watching him lose like all his family and the favor that he's always had. He used to be like this really popular teenager that everyone fawned upon, and now like he's so lonely in these episodes. He's so alone. And I was just like thinking about how like back to what we were talking about earlier, like why he was so antagonistic from like at the moment that he returns without anyone really antagonizing him.
Yeah.
And I reckon with the loss of his golden core, he loses like a massive part of his identity, because when he was young, he liked to show off about how like no one could beat him in his fights and how amazing he was at swords. And now he doesn't have that. So he's attempting to like make up for it with his evil demonic cultivation and everything, but that obviously hasn't gone over so well, because in him coming back, he's getting demonized left, right, and center.
Do you think he anticipated that though?
Oh yeah.
You think?
Oh yeah. He suggested doing something like that when he was a student in the Lan clan and immediately got thrown out of the classroom.
True. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah.
He's always like, why can't we? So I think he definitely do, and that's why he already had this like protective shell on him when he came back.
Yeah, and started off being super defensive, particularly to Lan Zhan. Like, I wouldn't have said he was that defensive. He was defensive to everyone, but particularly to Lan Zhan, I would say.
And I reckon maybe it's because as a student, like Lan Zhan was the one that corrected him in that like using demonic arts is wrong. So
he was the only one that never sort of, everyone would be gushing about Wei Wuxian and Lan Zhan wouldn't be, he was sort of always.
He was gushing randomly.
Yeah.
We both.
But no one knew that, so he just thought that Lan Zhan was always going to be against him. So, and everyone else is,
always
up his
judging
about
him.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Like kind of looking down on him.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like. And then that's why I was also, like trying to figure out, we haven't talked about this yet, but like all the Wen clan remnants, I think that's why he was so eager to take them in and like, defect from the Jiang clan and move to like the middle of nowhere in the burial mounds. And that's because he finally found a purpose for himself, and he found like a semblance of family, and those people were accepting of who he was, regardless of if he was able to use the sword or if he needed to use like dark art. So like I thought about Wei Wuxian a lot, and yeah, and for me, like that's essentially the journey he goes through in these 10 episodes.
I have a question for you about this, because it's something that I would say bothers me about the show. Well, not the show, the story, I would say, in this section. Because I know we've talked about his character, and so he's all about sort of like upholding what's right and what's, doing what's the right thing. Why do you think he was so adamant about helping them? Like the Wen clan, when he could have easily just sort of, not done anything, continued on his path. Why do you think he was so adamant about doing it? I thought something good would come like out of this, and the Wen clan would get out of this. And when it all fell apart, I remember like getting to the end of that and just thinking, what was the point of all of that? That just, it was so depressing. It was so depressing. He was miserable really the whole time, because he cut himself off completely from everything he knew and all his friends and family and all that. So like, why was he so adamant about sticking to it? That's, I think, something that I've always questioned. And I know it's his character, I get that, but it's just like, why? Like, I don't know. It's just something that's always like bothered me.
I think this is like he's fiercely loyal, and loyalty is like a massive focus, especially in Chinese culture. And I'm assuming specifically Chinese culture from that period of time.
Right. But like then that
Wei
makes even
Wuxian is-
less sense because he's like basically betraying his own clan that he's grown up with though.
First of all, he sees them being treated unfairly because they obviously don't deserve to. They weren't the ones doing evil. And then Wen Ning also saves Jiang Cheng. Wen Ting also does him a favor where like she helps save Jiang Cheng's with the golden core transplant. There's all of that. And then I reckon, like I said, to me, it feels like he found a purpose. Someone actually needs him.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe he's like wholly selfless. I reckon it's a bit self-serving in the sense that he's finally needed.
Is that
And
what it
they're
is?
the only people that accept him.
I don't disagree with anything you said there, but I think maybe it's just my selfish kind of like personality coming in.
I
that
would never do
I
that.
just don't see myself ever being able to do that. So I can't really fully understand why he did it. He already had a family, you know, and
But they don't treat him very well,
no,
Jiang Cheng.
they don't. But I think I just find it hard to think of turning my back on my family completely just on the drop of a hat like that, like he did basically.
This is an example of someone being selfless at the expense of the people around them. And that's why
I
it feels
agree.
like he's like doing it at the expense of Jiang Yanli and Jiang Cheng.
Yeah.
But then also, what can he do in the Jiang clan, in like the
Yeah,
mainstream
okay.
cultivation world if
That's a
he
good
has no
point.
powers?
Yeah, that's a good point. And like at
Yeah,
least
there's literally nothing he can do.
But at least with Wen Qing and Wen Ning, they know like what he's done. They're the only ones that know what has happened to him. Yeah, he
Yeah.
probably finds sort of like solace in that, I would say, and doesn't have to hide that. That's probably another element of it. When he's with them, he doesn't have to hide the fact that he's lost his golden core. Whereas when he was just in the cultivation world constantly, it was sort of like, where's your fucking sword?
Where's your sword? Where's your sword? Literally.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
I would be sick of that for sure.
Yeah, at least where he is in the later half of these episodes, he doesn't have to worry about that, you know. Maybe that's an element of it. I don't know, it still bothers me because I just remember getting to the end of this arc and being like, holy
Why'd you do
fuck,
that?
this is so depressing. Like, what was the point of all of that?
It was fucked up that they all died in the end.
Yeah, that was fucked up. And it was also not where I was thinking the story was going. So I felt like I'd had the rug pulled out from under me and I'm just like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen like that, you know? So
yeah, I know.
yeah.
But he got Wen Yuan out of it.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing I think that you can seek comfort in is he was saved and had a very different life. But I don't know, the whole Wen clan story arc is so fucking depressing. Oh my god, like they got dealt like the worst life.
But I think a big part of these shows as well, there's a lot of tragedy in it. And
oh yeah,
this is like an example of it. It's
yeah.
like there's no happy ending for some people.
I've got two scenes here, like just in general. One that I've kind of already touched on, which is sort of in the lead up to him basically defecting, I would say. When, he walks in basically to confront the Jin clan about where the rest of the Wen clan is. And he drinks the alcohol for Lan Zhan and he calls the Jin clan out basically for like their hypocrisy, like with very little effort as well, because like he just
Someone needed to.
Well, yeah, I know. I just love, as I've said, I love he doesn't have a sword and he's just holding his flute and he just touches his flute and they all freak out. It's fucking hysterical. I mentioned like the counting down threateningly. Yeah, that's really good. And then I think the icing on the cake was when Lan Zhan calls out Meng Yao in front of everyone when he was talking smack about Wei Wuxian, about he shouldn't say that. And Lan Zhan's basically like, was he wrong? And then just heads off. I love that. That's so good. I think, we touched on that earlier.
With those scenes, I like that you brought up the part where he like touches his flute and everyone like actually gets
Freaks
scared.
out. Yeah.
Because they're obviously like, they're treating him like the villain because like I said earlier, they're scared of him, but they're also jealous of him because he's got so much power, right? The thing I noticed was that the way that Lan Zhan looks at Wei Wuxian, it never has fear in it. It only has concern and understanding.
Did you see the way he like looked up, like when he took the drink from him, he looked like a little puppy, like looking up at him.
But he's never scared of Wei Wuxian.
No.
And like I think that to me is like
he's more
the biggest show of trust.
He's more scared about if something's going to happen to Wei Wuxian, not scared of him.
He doesn't think Wei Wuxian will ever harm him, which is
you love it.
True love.
That's so good.
It's true bromance.
And then the next scene I wanted to talk about was the one immediately following this, which is the how do you say it? Chongqi Path
Yeah.
section. Oh my god, that is just so sad and devastating watching that whole
Oh,
series of scenes all together. Like, it's incredibly well done, don't get me wrong, but it's so depressing that I don't actually like watching it.
there's no need to rewatch anything like that. It's so depressing.
No, but the one that plays Wen Qing, she's phenomenal in that scene.
It was shot so beautifully because I was watching it on my TV, but like you can't really see what's going on because of how dark it is, right? And it's raining. And then they add like flashes of the lightning where when the lightning flashes, you can see just how many people are there
dead.
on the ground.
Yeah, that's true.
That was so beautifully shot too. Like, it's so haunting. I can't believe that the producers and the directors didn't have much budget. It was so well done.
It was really good. And like her agonized screams as well. Like, oh my god.
I can't stop thinking of Lan Zhan under the umbrella now. The scene of Lan Zhan standing underneath the rain with his umbrella. Poor baby.
But
oh no,
it's a fantastic shot.
Oh, and then when Wei Wuxian says like, "If we become enemies, I want you to be the one to kill me."
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, just say that like, if I'm going to become public enemy number one, I want you to be the one to kill me.
Yeah.
It's like he definitely has some feelings. Whether
absolutely.
it's romantic is up for debate. But
the fact that
he respects the guy.
I forgot about another one that's a really good one. I can't remember like what order it is, but when Lan Zhan and his brother Xiao Zhan are having a scene, and Lan Zhan says he wants to bring someone back to cloud recesses. Oh my god.
It's so obvious too. It's like after Mian Mian leaves.
Okay, right. Yes. He doesn't even say like who it is, but Xiao Zhan's like, basically, I don't think this person will listen or comply or whatever. Like, he already knew who he was talking about. Yeah.
That's because Lan Zhan has like one friend.
Yeah. Like,
and it's Wei Wuxian.
What does he say though? He wants to bring him back and hide him. Oh, Lan Zhan.
It's very cute. It's very misguided, but it's very cute.
I love that.
It's his own way of protecting him, but he doesn't know how. So he's like, I just want to hide him away. Stop him from self-destructing.
Yeah.
And the way that he's just like, oh, I want to bring someone. It's...
yeah, anyway, a really cute moment. I love that one. My next big block of text that I have is about Zhang Cheng again.
Okay, I've got a bit on Zhang Cheng as well.
My first comment... I don't know about you. My first comment is, I'm trying so hard to see Zhang Cheng differently, but honestly, he's just becoming more unlikable and insufferable by the minute.
He's so irritating.
I was trying so hard because I know we've been bitching about him. So I'm like, I'm going to look at him differently in the next 10 episodes. And I'm just like, help.
My notes, I just say that like Zhang Cheng becomes more and more bitter and resentful, given that he just lost his family.
Yeah.
But then also imagine how he felt when Wei Wuxian was officially leaving the Jiang clan. Like, he literally has no one left. I kind of get where he's coming from. He's super annoying, but there are also a lot of moments where he's defending Wei Wuxian, especially with all the sword shit, like all the randos asking him, "Where's Wei Wuxian? Why isn't he carrying his sword?" He's like trying to... He doesn't like throw him under the bus immediately.
The thing that I find frustrating about him in those moments is that even though he's sort of defending Wei Wuxian a little bit, he's sort of just letting all the stuff get to him, and he doesn't immediately just come out and defend Wei Wuxian. Like, for me, that's what's so disappointing, is that I didn't feel like he was fighting for him. As soon as things started to get tough, he just like turned his back on him. It was sort of like, all right, I've cut that sort of problem off now.
But I mean, he has to think of his whole clan.
Yeah, so
like that's a lot of people.
I'm not disregarding that. Like, he definitely has to be because he's got his own shit to deal with. But the worst one, I think, was when he was basically like, just hand over all these innocent Wen clan people so they don't have to face any repercussions. Yeah. That was shitty. That was really shitty.
Cold.
That was really cold. I can see why he said it, but it was still fucking cold.
That's what I struggle to understand about all these like cultivator people, is that they all see themselves as like good, but everyone is willing to sacrifice the innocent people but Wei Wuxian. Literally everyone.
Well, they need a scapegoat.
Job.
Yeah, they need a scapegoat for it. There's two things that I thought were quite interesting in these episodes was Wen Qing. Her and Zhang Cheng have a scene. I can't remember exactly when it was, but it must have been when she was giving the comb back or something like that. He was basically saying to her like, oh, why didn't you come and ask me for help or something like that? And Wen Qing just so matter of fact was basically like, well, would you have helped me with no second thoughts like Wei Wuxian did? And like this girl
And
has
he's
figured
like
him
shocked
out.
Pikachu face.
Yeah, like she's figured him out, already knew that Wei Wuxian would be able to help her more than he ever could. But, you know, he is a leader of the Zheng clan, so kind of
It's just
he's kind of hampered by
bruising
that.
his ego. But that's everything that like Jiang Cheng is motivated by. It's just like, you're making me look bad. And
Yeah.
so that's why he's like annoyed by half the shit that Wei Wuxian does.
But in his defense, though, I can't believe I'm saying this. I think Zhan Cheng feels betrayed by Wei Wuxian because he sees Wei Wuxian like choosing the Wen clan basically over him. That's what he can't comprehend. I can see
I
both
kind of
sides.
get it as well from
yeah,
that way.
I really
Yeah.
can. But God, he's just
whiny as
painful.
fuck,
Oh,
though.
yeah, he's painful to
And
watch.
he's so negative. He's one of those people that like expresses concern with something that like doesn't sound nice to hear. Like if you want to express concern for someone, actually like show concern and don't disguise it with like sharp, thorny words. But he
Yes.
does that.
Yes.
And it's so annoying.
And then the next scene I wanted to point out was you had it in your recap when it was basically like they were trying to like force Yan Li to like get married to the peacock. Oh, it was a very irritating scene to watch. And for me in this scene, what was the most striking was it really highlighted how Zhan Cheng came across as quite a weak leader.
Oh my god, yes, because he was like agreeing to it, right?
Well, he wasn't saying anything. He was sort of just silent. And then Wei Wuxian walks in and just is basically like, I feel like it just highlighted the difference between the two of them. Like Wei Wuxian just immediately comes in and stands his ground, whereas Zhan Cheng's just like, how are they going to think about me? You know, they're going to think I'm an asshole if I say this. Whereas, Wei Wuxian is just, he's already got his words prepared and he knew exactly what he wanted to do. For me, it just really highlighted just how different they are as leaders.
Yes.
Yeah, I was quite disappointed in Zhan Cheng in this scene. Like, I felt like that could have been a moment where he could have
stood up for
himself and also his sister. Yeah,
it's just his character. And I think a lot of people would come to his defense like, oh, he's a leader, like he's the leader of the sect, so he needs to consider other things. But I think that's a cop-out.
Yeah.
Because his dad cancelled the engagement because he was like, oh, she doesn't want to do it. It was just something that my wife wanted to do, blah, blah, blah. And so he can do the same thing.
You're the leader of the clan now, so yeah.
Yeah, like have some backbone. Don't just be walked all over by other people.
Yeah.
A scene for me that I really love, one of the scenes I love the most in these 10 episodes was when Jiang Cheng and Jiang Yanli came in Jiang Yanli's like, and Jiang Li was dressed in a wedding dress and they went to see Wei Wuxian. I think that scene made me cry. One of my favorite scenes.
Really?
Because
the
moment she gets revealed in her wedding dress, I was like done for. Like I loved it.
She looks stunning.
It was so sweet.
Oh my god. Yes. Why?
Because he can't be with them anymore. But like I think there's something about like that wedding dress and how she still wants him to be involved and she wants him to see what she looks like in her wedding dress because she won't be allowed. He won't be allowed there on the actual day. And that just makes me so sad.
That's devastating.
Like the fact that she traveled a super long distance in her wedding dress just so he could see her was just that makes me emotional. It makes me really emotional. And then also her asking Wei Wuxian to name her unborn child and then her casually dropping that was actually Jiang Cheng's idea.
Yeah. You get these little moments you get these little moments of Zhan Cheng not being a dick.
Yeah.
And then you sit there and you go, maybe I shouldn't have shit talked him, you know, like he has like these moments where
that was a sweet moment.
Sweet.
Like,
yeah.
So that for me was like, oh, Jiang Cheng, I mean, you do care, you know,
and
like, because if
it was so easy for the three of them to just like get back together and be back to their old
drink
ways.
soup together.
Yeah. And just like the banter and all that was still there. Yeah. It is. I forgot about that scene.
And you know, like what happens after episode 30 and like the sheer destruction that goes. Like their family gets torn apart.
I was like feeling okay. And then when she ended up dying, like, which we'll cover the next set of episodes, I was devastated actually at that. So I could see why you were getting emotional.
I was super sad that he kept talking about promising to make her big day special and how he promised to be there and he can't. Like that just... yeah, it makes me really sad.
And again,
Yeah.
like it harps back
Oh.
to that sort of my frustration with like, what was the point of all of this? Like he had to give up everything, including like everything related to her, you know, was it worth it? Considering how much
Yeah.
he loves and adores her. Like, I don't know. Like I'm sitting here going like, I can see why he's done it. But at the same time, I'm like, look at all the stuff he had to give up.
Like he's loyal, but yeah, again, he put his family through some shit.
He did. Oh, I didn't even think about that scene. I forgot about it actually.
Oh wow, it's one of my like highlight scenes.
Wow.
But then okay, just on Jiang Yanli though, like even though I say a lot that she's only there to make soup,
Yeah.
but she's really one of the few people who have never doubted Wei Wuxian. Like,
yeah,
ever since he came back in these 10 episodes, she never ever doubts him. She's always just checking in on him and she believes in him, and her love is like unconditional from start to end. And I think maybe that's what made that scene so touching for me as well. It's just like she just really believes in him.
Favorite moments? I think we might have one of the same ones. Go on.
Just the scene of Wei Wuxian, Lan Zhan, and Wen Yuan like spending time together.
Yes.
Like having
Yeah,
dinner
I
and
love
shopping
this.
for toys. So domestic.
Yeah, so this is one of mine as well. All right, you go on.
There's not much. I don't have many.
The first scene of Ayuan and Lan Zhan though, like when he
Oh yeah,
he's
grabs his
crying and
leg.
holding onto his leg and Lan Zhan just doesn't know what to do. That's fucking hilarious.
I'm surprised he got that through the censors. It's like their child.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
domestic.
But like, why? The thing that I wanted to ask you about this scene is why does Wei Wuxian say that he birthed Yuan? It's so random.
Bad joke.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
And then Lan Zhan's like, what? He's like actually responding to it seriously.
Yeah, like, did you? Like,
when did that happen?
Yeah, how does that happen? I adore these scenes, and then I just love how Wei Wuxian was just like, "Hey, look at this toy. You want it? You're not getting it."
He's such a troll.
Huge troll. And then Lan Zhan's like so offended on Yuan's behalf. I think when I saw him buying toys for him, I was like, okay. I'm starting to piece things together. I feel like that was the moment where I was like, okay, it's starting to come together now for me. I'm starting to understand sort of who's who and...
like it was starting to click for you. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think what I love about these scenes is the immediate like and interest that Yuan has with Lan Zhan, and he listens to him more than Wei Wuxian, and I don't know. I love it too. I'm with you. It's great.
Yuan's such a cute kid. Like, fuck. It was genuinely so cute.
Anyway, I have that one as well. I have one small one that I doubt that you have. Okay, so it's the scene after like they kill the Wen clan leader, Wen Ruhan. Wei Wuxian uses his like Stygian iron and he passes out. And then he wakes up 3 days later. Lan Zhan's been coming by to like play music for him to help him heal.
Oh, okay.
Basically.
Yeah.
It's the scene where he wakes up and walks into the room and sees Lan Zhan walks into the room and sees that Wei Wuxian has woken up.
Yeah.
And literally no words are spoken in this scene other than Yanli. And just the way that they look at each other is so good. And
so much extended like eye contact.
Yes. Very lingering, longing looks there.
I like that scene.
Yeah, it's great. I just
love
Wei
Wuxian was so dialogue. Like sheepish as well.
Yes, yeah, he was like sitting there,
and he was in his pajamas.
Yeah, like looking around, being like, I know I did a naughty thing. Like, don't hate me.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, and Lan Zhan's sort of just like, awake, like, thank God.
Yeah, okay, I remember that scene. That's a good one. Okay, what's your last one? I want to see if it's the same as the one I've got.
It has to be, because This is classic. Is it the forest scene?
No!
What? The forest scene between Lan Zhan and Wei Wuxian, which is in the book. It's when it's meant to be the scene where they share their first kiss, but in the show it's just them having a really sweet convo. So it's basically when they're doing the monster hunt. Wei Wuxian is just playing his flute basically. Lan Zhan starts walking by and Wei Wuxian goes to like call out to him, but then he recalls a conversation he had with Xiao Zhan that was basically like, don't hurt like the other people around you because of what you're doing. And so instead of calling out to Lan Zhan, he just like goes silent and doesn't call out to him. But then Lan Zhan like sees him there and immediately just walks straight up to him after seeing him. And then they have a really cute conversation where, what is it? Wei Wuxian asks what Lan Zhan's doing, wondering why he won't mind his own business. Like they're a bit frosty again with each other. Oh yeah, Wei Wuxian, and he says he used to see Lan Zhan as his lifelong friend.
No, his soulmate. His soulmate.
That's not what it says on the subtitles. Is that what it is in Chinese then? Because it's not what it says in the...
Are you getting sad?
I'm getting sad now. Am I missing little things like this?
He literally says you're like my life's person, kind of. Like the what?
So the Viki subtitle is lifelong bosom friend.
Yeah, so like it's basically soulmate.
Yes,
but
it doesn't say soulmate.
Version.
Soulmate means so much more.
I think like for them, like that's as intense as it
Close
gets.
as you're gonna get to it. Yeah. And Lan Zhan agrees. He's like, I still am. Oh, it's so good. And just the way they look at each other in that scene, and it's like they've been through like 10 breakups, and even though it's not what it was in the book, they still managed to find a way to make that scene memorable and really good.
So yes, the soulmate scene was my last scene.
So it is the same scene. Okay.
Yes, but
okay.
I had in my head it was the soulmate scene.
I was like, how can you not have this scene? Like, like ultimate. It was literally my first note I wrote down when I was making my notes was this scene.
I actually had in my recap that I said that he thought that they were soulmates, and it was actually quite angsty for me because of the way that he delivers it. He was like, I thought you were my soulmate, but I guess not. Like,
like he's really like teenagerish
I'm so
about
betrayed.
it.
Like being really like dramatic
I guess
about
not.
it. Really sassy. Yeah, and then and poor Lan Zhan's like, I still am.
I still am.
But the first time I watched it, though, I was like, holy shit, I can't believe that passed the censors. Like, the phrase he used, it just felt very intense. I guess a part of me could have seen it as platonic, but even then, it's still very intimate.
It is. I think it's a lot is left unspoken. So the fact that they're just saying, you're my friend, maybe they view it as them friend zoning each other in that moment, but I think a lot of the viewers can read between the lines here. So
but like for me, I immediately took it as like, you're my soulmate. But it doesn't have to be
but soulmates can be
romantic.
Platonic. Yeah.
It's soulmate the same way that Xue Xingchen and Song Lan were. Yeah. They're not necessarily together, it's not canon, but they're still soulmates. Yeah, like I said, I don't really have that many moments.
There's a lot of little moments, like, you know, the Xiao Zhan and Lan Zhan, like, I want to bring someone back to, that's not like a favorite moment, but like, that's like a great moment. Yeah, it's very cute. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for episodes 21 to 30 for the Untamed. And next episode, we'll be covering episodes 31 to 40.
Yay, we're back in the present timeline. Woohoo!
Finally! No more flashback. Okay. Woohoo!
Yay, bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Two Girls and One BL podcast. If you enjoyed our discussion, don't forget to subscribe to us and leave us a comment.
We'd also love to hear your thoughts, so follow us on socials, YouTube, and Spotify at Two Girls One BL podcast. See you next time.
Bye!